prospects for Nigeria's economic recovery from the current recession and pathway to sustainable growth came to the fore at the 2017 Cordros Capital Annual Economic Roundtable. It brought together business leaders, financial analysts, economists, policy strategists, investment bankers, amongst others, to engage constructively on the way forward for the Nigerian economy in 2017 and beyond. The roundtable featured presentations and analysis, alongside robust discussions on the fiscal policy, 2017 budget, and key developments that will shape Nigeria's economy.
One good thing from the challenges we're all facing in Nigeria today is that the word volatility is now in our lingo. We've seen it in commodities, stocks, interest rate. Stocks are down, interest rate up. I will not talk about the direction of FX to avoid being labeled unpatriotic, and possibly the importance of macroeconomics. Nigerians now appreciate that. Research, strategy, and the role of an investment banker. There will always be changes in the world order. Military actions, changes in governments, deregulation, crude oil moving up and down. But Brexit and Trump are of different dimensions. We have to start ensuring that our contribution is not limited to roundtable sessions. As investment bankers, we need to start having a voice and a vote and presence in government. Has Nigeria reacted well to economic issues, even if they were not anticipated? Other questions are, how do we push interest rate down when the federal government continues to borrow, limits its opportunity for revenue generation, limits the attraction of foreign capital into the fixed income market? Isn't that the route to neutralize devaluation risk or boost FX liquidity? How do we revive our financial markets? How do we get companies and factories running again in Nigeria so the fortunes of our stock market can improve? Positioning the market for capital, capital to the NSE equity market, and to private equity. What really is our economic vision in Nigeria? I hear less of Vision 2020 these days. What are the strategies and what are the goals? For now, we're all fixed income weighted, either in strategy, interest, or portfolio. The FMDQ market appears to be the safe haven at the moment, and investment bankers more than ever require this fixed income business for their bread and butter. I hope they all key in as quickly as possible. We must think of retail investors and never leave them behind.
To come out of recession, technically, is just for you to have 0.1% growth and you're out of recession, technically. So that's what it means. Okay. So the economy start growing 0.1 or it start growing 0.2. So short term, once we have high oil prices, high oil revenues, and the government pumps the money into the economy, the foreign exchange situation improves a bit. As the reserves is going up now, they want to quickly increase the reserves, then the economy will grow. But there's another dimension to it, which is the short term. It's like we are already at a very, very low base. Many people don't know it. A lot of damage. I mean, we have bleeded so much in the last 2 years. Bleeded so much in the last 2 years. So if you just grow some more, we're out of recession, and that's it. That's the short term. So we'll be out of recession this year. Don't pay me for that prediction. But more importantly, and go back to the long-term questions that I asked at the start. Those are the questions that we need to ask time and time and time again. Can the present fiscal structure, the present manner in which we conduct fiscal policies, can they foster sustainable growth over a long period of time that is not dependent on oil prices? This is what recovery will mean for Nigeria with our oil price. When we begin to grow like this, per capita income, but without reliance on oil prices. What Nigerians need to do for sustainable recovery, we need to deal with the issue of low productivity. Low productivity. There is a reason why the manufacturing sector, the agriculture sector, education, health, chemicals, there is a reason why they are not producing enough in terms of quantity, in terms of quality, and there is a reason why they can't compete with the world. The reason is so simple. The way government spends money, our own resources, does not help the private sector to keep making the investment in their home production and productivity. And until we begin to do that, we're going to continue to have problems.
Key stakeholders give their takeaways from the event.
It was great having you moderate this roundtable by Cordros. But can you give us your takeaways from the interactions that we had today?
Okay, well, we had two fantastic discussions. One centered around fiscal policy, the budget. I think the most important point you find out of that session is that maybe the assumptions in the 2017 budget will be tough, especially in terms of oil production numbers and company income tax projections, and a broader point around, I think, the dysfunctionalities of fiscal policy in Nigeria, which essentially we have to deal with to improve the lives of ordinary people. From the conversation, the broader economic conversation around recovery, I think the key point, similar to the first one, but the key takeaway is that the state of the economy and sectors is quite challenging, and the big point is that this is not about coming out of recession, growing by 0.1% or 0.3%. This is about getting policy right so that we can then have sustainable economic growth going forward. And like the second speaker said, we can grow at 6, 7, 10% consistently over the next decade or so. So that, for me, will be the key takeaway from this session.
As an economist, we always want to engage on this. What would be your insight to this budget in terms of achieving it? Someone you know very well, Dr. Salami, said if they can implement it to an extent, to a level, we can see some growth recovery as projected. But what would you like to see differently from other budgets?
Well, the good aspect of the budget is, of course, just like last year, the attempt to increase capital spending, especially in power, works and housing and transportation. I call it an attempt because it's contingent on realizing the revenue projections in the budget, which is where the real challenges are. It's clear that the revenue challenges are optimistic relative to current reality. We're unlikely to do 2.2 million barrels of oil per day. We're unlikely to collect 800 billion naira of company taxation, and we're unlikely to raise 1.3 trillion or so, or 1.6 trillion in foreign borrowing, given the fact that we have not resolved the issues that concern foreign investors. So there's an opportunity to increase spending in capital spending, but the biggest constraint is, are these projections realistic? And the big issue we have to deal with is then the policy environment. So big issue, we're hoping that the Nigerian Economic Recovery and Growth Plan that is expected in February deals with those issues.
Well, I think everyone is really aware of the economic challenges we're facing. I just find that people are more and more focused on making sure we're taking the right action. And also part of it is communicating business to the political community and to the civil servants what needs to be done. So I was heartened by it. But I mean, one thing that we keep talking about at PricewaterhouseCoopers is we need to improve the ease of doing business. We need to make Nigeria attractive for both foreign investors and also Nigerian investors. And that message we just need to reinforcing, because if we don't make progress on that, we're not going to be able to come out of this recession.
But I think the learning points are even more instructive. You know, the issue around the contradictions in the budget, things that we could do to help ourselves. Looking at how far down we have gone. What shocked me was the collapse in venture capital and foreign direct investments that used to come in, that is all dried up. And why have they dried up? They've dried up because they just cannot deal with the uncertainty that is upon us because of the many foreign exchange rates that are prevalent today. You know, and I wonder why we do this to ourselves. Because I feel that people are pricing whatever they are buying or whatever they are selling as if they bought the dollar at the parallel market rate. So if I'm producing water or if I'm producing chairs or whatever I'm producing, my pricing to the market is as if I bought dollar at the parallel market rate. Now, if I get a subsidized dollar at 305, the extra profit goes directly to me. It's not passed on to the so-called poor person that I'm trying to get him to get a subsidy. And it happened even during petroleum subsidy as well. Because outside Lagos, many filling stations were not passing the price of the subsidy to the communities. Go to the north, go to the east. Who was benefiting? Individuals, the marketers, and those that have portfolio marketing. And we created dollar billionaires. If we are not careful, all that we're going to succeed in doing is to replicate those overnight dollar billionaires in this whole market of foreign exchange. You know, in good intention, but it's very unlikely. I've never seen subsidies going to the right people. Subsidies are always cornered, whether they are on oil price, whether they are on fertilizer, or whether they are on foreign exchange.
For Mr. Wale Agbeyangi, CEO of Cordros Capital, it was a successful economic roundtable.
We wanted a platform where, stakeholders in the economy, could come together to talk about the impact of government policies on, various, sectors. And we're concerned that there was no platform for clients and stakeholders in the market to intellectually talk about what we should expect. And we wanted to bring people who are usually not in public space. Those are the kind of speakers that we had, and we're very happy that Dr. Nevin of PwC and Dr. Okiti accepted to be a speaker at the event. So I think it went very well, and I think a lot of people that came gained so much, and they're prepared for 2017.
What are your key takeaways in terms of being a business leader in the market?
So key takeaway is for us not to expect so much from the economy. So you need to think beyond the ordinary for you to succeed in 2017. We already know where the numbers are coming from. We already know what's going to happen in terms of oil price, revenues, deficits, how government may not be able to meet, that deficit financing objectives for 2017. So if you're an economic agent, if you're a stakeholder in the economy, you already know what you should be doing, rather than just wait and mid-year, you complain that you have lost so much, by not meeting your objectives. So I think people already know what to expect in 2017.
From the Cordros Capital Annual Economic Roundtable 2017, it is clear that Nigerian fiscal and monetary authorities must tailor their policies to achieve inclusive and sustainable growth in the nation.